Two men walk into the same room. One is wearing a $4,000 logo-covered jacket, driving a leased Range Rover and carrying $47,000 in credit card debt. The other is wearing a plain navy sweater, driving a 7-year-old paid-off sedan, and quietly owns $340,000 in index funds. Every person in the room thinks the first man is rich. The first man thinks so too. The Stoics had a word for this. They called it slavery, just with better clothes. More than 60% of genuinely high-income Americans are actively moving away from visible luxury, choosing quality without logos, assets without announcements, and wealth that cannot be photographed. This is not a trend. This is the oldest financial philosophy on Earth. Marcus Aurelius ran the most powerful empire in human history. He wore the same plain robes. He ate soldiers' food. He slept on a military cot. Not because he was poor, because he understood something that your credit card company does not want you to know. In the next 9 minutes, I am going to give you the 7 habits of the invisible rich, straight from the Stoics, 2,000 years before anyone called it stealth wealth. Marcus Aurelius inherited an empire at 40. He had access to more material wealth than any human alive at that time, and he spent his evenings alone in a tent, writing private notes to himself, notes that were never meant to be published, about the danger of wanting more than you need. He wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, not the image of the present, not the version of yourself that looks successful, the actual present." Now look at your last 3 purchases. Were they for you, or were they for the version of you that you want other people to believe exists? That question is where stealth wealth begins and where most people's financial lives quietly end. Habit 1. The invisible rich own assets, not objects, not experiences they cannot afford. Assets. Stealth wealth practitioners invest in things that cannot be photographed for Instagram. Index funds, real estate equity, a stake in a small business. These are boring. You cannot wear them to dinner. You cannot park them in front of a restaurant. But they compound, quietly, every single day, while your neighbor's BMW depreciates by the time he reaches the highway. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little who is poor, but the man who craves more. Craving more is loud. Owning more is silent." Habit 2. The invisible rich do not announce their wins. Research on quiet luxury shows something precise. Status-insecure consumers prefer loud branding. Experts choose unmarked quality. Read that again. The logo is not for the person who can afford it. It is for the person who needs you to believe they can. Epictetus wrote, "Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." Translated for 2026, stop performing your financial life for an audience that is not watching, for approval that does not pay your rent. The invisible rich moved their scorekeeping inside. Their metric is net worth, not net appearance. So, habits 1 and 2 will change how you think about money. But habit 7, the master habit, is the one that makes all others possible. Stay until the end. But before habit 3, think of one thing you own right now that you bought for someone else's eyes. Not yours, theirs. Drop it in the comments. One word is enough. Habit 3. The invisible rich spend, but strategically. They do not upgrade everything. They upgrade specific, high-impact areas while remaining invisible everywhere else. A great mattress, a personal trainer they never post about, a therapist, books that cost $12 and compound for decades. This is what psychologists call long-term orientation, the ability to prioritize future stability over the short-term dopamine hit of a purchase someone else can see. Marcus Aurelius called this the discipline of desire, not the destruction of desire, the discipline of it. There is a difference. Destruction is denial. Discipline is direction.
Your desire does not disappear, it just stops shopping for an audience. Habit 4. The invisible rich are obsessively debt-averse, not because they cannot borrow, because they understand what debt actually is. Debt is the purchase of an image using your future self as collateral. You are mortgaging the person you have not become yet to look like the person you are not yet. The top 1% of American households have an average net worth of $35 million, and they are statistically far more cautious about debt than the people who lease the cars that signal they belong in that category. Seneca wrote it plainly, "No man can swim ashore and take his baggage with him." The baggage is not the debt. The baggage is the identity you built around the debt. The invisible rich travel light, internally, financially, both. Habit 5. The invisible rich build networks that cannot be photographed. Not LinkedIn connections, not follower counts, not the table they got at the restaurant. Real trust, built over years, in rooms with no audience. Stealth wealth practitioners view public displays of connection, the name-dropping, the event attendance, the association signaling, as a form of poverty of genuine relationship. Marcus Aurelius surrounded himself with philosophers, not flatterers. He wrote, "Associate with those who will make you better, not those who will make you look better. Make you better." The invisible rich know the difference, and they pay significant attention to it when almost nobody is watching. I want to slow down for a moment because there is something underneath all 7 of these habits that nobody in the stealth wealth conversation will say directly. The reason the invisible rich are invisible is not discipline, it is not frugality, it is not strategy, it is security. Deep, interior psychological security. They do not need the logo to know who they are. They already know. And that knowledge, that specific internal certainty, is the one thing money cannot buy, but Stoicism can give you for free, if you do the work. Habits 6 and 7 are that work.
Habit 6. The invisible rich begin every day with an inventory, not of their portfolio, of their desires. Epictetus called this prosochi, self-attention, the deliberate act of examining your wants before the world can install new ones in you. Here is the practice. Every morning, before your phone, write 3 words. What I want, what I need, what I am. Not what you post, not what you earn, what you are. The gap between those 3 answers is where your money goes without your permission. The invisible rich have made that gap very small, over many years, on purpose, before breakfast. Habit 7, the master habit, the one the Stoics considered the foundation of all others. The invisible rich do not build wealth and then become wealthy. They become wealthy inside first. Then the wealth follows. They asked not, "How much do I have?" They asked, "Who am I when I have nothing?" Because the person who knows who they are with nothing cannot be owned by something, cannot be held hostage by a logo, cannot be manipulated by a monthly payment, cannot be defined by a balance. Marcus Aurelius wrote in the Meditations, in a private journal he never meant to publish, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Stealth wealth is not a financial strategy. It is a character strategy. The account follows the character, every time, without exception, for 2,000 years of documented human behavior. Every time. 7 habits. Own assets, not objects. Silence is the most expensive flex. Spend on what compounds invisibly. Carry no debt. Carry no identity built on debt. Build networks that cannot be photographed. Take a morning inventory of your desires. And above all, build the character before the account. The account follows the character. It always has. It always will. The Stoics did not discover stealth wealth. They invented it 2,000 years before anyone needed a name for it, because they understood that real wealth has always been the kind nobody can see, except you. And you already know if you have it. This channel is not about money. It is about the person you are becoming on the way to having it. The broke Stoic is not for people who want to get rich. It is for people who have decided to become someone who deserves to be. That distinction, that specific distinction, is the only thing that separates the invisible rich from everyone else. Subscribe if you have decided, not if you are still deciding. See you in the next one.